viewers. The astute amongst you will notice that tonight I am flying solo, but fear not, Dan P has provided me with an extensive set of production notes for this part of the show. So, he says, to do an unboxing of something gaming related that is a hot topic right now and all over the socials and sits within the youth zeitgeist. So, in this episode, we're going to be looking at something that fits into all of those categories and is popular with the kids. Yep, tonight we're going to be unboxing Conkers. Yeah, that old chestnut. Hey, buddy. Yeah, no, I'm doing it right now. No, I don't always misinterpret your production notes. No, look, failure to launch was just a one-time thing, dude. And anyway, it's a great rom-com. What am I doing? I was going to do Conkers. No, it's fine. Look, and there's a great chestnut gag in there as well. Yeah. No, all right, calm down. I'll think of something else. No, you don't need to join. No, it's fine. Yeah. No, it's all right. I've got it covered. Yeah, cool. All right, I'll speak to you later, mate. Shit. Guess we'll just have to do this then. Dan with a gaming flair, pixel dreams and worlds to share. So, this is it. Asus ROG Xbox Ally X. So we're going to go straight in. Still in a nice plastic seal. Let's give it an open. See where we land up. Love the good of that plastic, Jesus. Just to say, this isn't a pre-production model. It's not a pre-release. We've got it on day of release. Bought with my own hard-earned cash, by the way. Okay. So here we go. Nice, shiny, new Xbox Ally X. So this is the upper tier model. Comes in a nice, shiny box. Seen a lot of things about this, worrying about the fact that it could be a little bit heavy. It's not. It's very shiny. First impressions, feels lovely. Hardware-wise, solid build, nice click, all the sticks, thumbs, grips. Let's get into the detail. So seriously, props to all those people who do this for a living, because unboxing and even just standing here trying to get a decent picture of this thing, it's not as easy as it looks, people. Amateur hour. Right, Asus ROG Xbox Ally X. So first thing to note, it feels like a really solid build. It's lovely. I love some of the detailing around here. Obviously it's got the ROG branding, made in conjunction with Xbox, not an Xbox handheld. I think it's the closest thing we will get to an Xbox handheld now. Yeah, I'm really liking the build. Look, this is my first mobile PC. I'm a PC gamer as well as a console gamer, so I love that blend. But this thing, look, really feels good. Handles feel great. Feels just like holding an Xbox controller, to be fair. I can see it will give hours of comfort while gaming. The buttons, again, the click on them feels really solid. Nothing concerning me. D-pad's a little bit plasticky maybe, but I'm not a massive fighting gamer, so I'm not too worried about that. The most I'll be doing is applying potions and lotions, I suspect. Yeah, loving the thumbsticks. Really good click on those. Triggers are lovely. Hall effect triggers on these, so there's no ability to lock them in, so you can't adjust the gain on the sticks, but that's okay. What have we got at the top? So we've got a Thunderbolt port here. That'll do display 2.1 as well. Got your standard USB-C. Volume rocker. This will be an exhaust port, I suspect. Micro SD card reader. 3.5mm jack. and this is your power and combined fingerprint reader as well. So a couple of additional programmable buttons on the back as well. We've also got, what have we got? So on the back, ROG branding obviously, and the Republic of Gamer lovely stripe. This is air intake and then exhaust ports here at the top, so you're not ever blowing air directly in your face. You've got the speakers at the front, and yeah, overall looks like a really nice piece of kit. I'm really pleased with, look, it's expensive, but I'm really pleased at the moment until we get into it to see how it operates. Okay, so finally got it set up. I was expecting the process to be a little bit more seamless than it turned out to be. Everything I'd seen and read about this suggested that the setup process might be a little bit slicker than it actually was. As it turns out, booted it up after a bit of charge, got it into Windows setup mode. So it's essentially, if you set up a Windows 11 PC, it's exactly the same process. Made a little bit easier if you do have Windows Authenticator. You can go through the Microsoft Authenticator and set it up with passwords, etc. that way, which did simplify the process somewhat, as did being able to use the D-pad and the A button to confirm choices and selections rather than using the touchscreen, which can be a bit fiddly on a 7-inch touchscreen like this. Quite impressed with the fingerprint reader. So it's a very simple click of it, and it's an automatic read. It goes straight in. So if you're familiar with the Xbox interface, you'll be familiar with this. It's very, very similar. You've got your jump back in, so games you've previously played. Obviously, I've downloaded a demo from Steam just to check that piece. Then you can go into your play history. People who are familiar with the podcast, you'll see that Borderlands 4 is front and center. No apologies. Some other bits and pieces. Kids have been playing some stuff. Kronos, Baldur's Gate, obviously. And look, I haven't tested all of these, but I can confirm that certainly the Steam element works really well, really slick. We'll go back in. We've got your standard fare. We can go back into gamepass menu. Select Game Pass games, back into the library. One thing I did notice with the library, it needed to double up on installations, and clearly it's still, considering that I've got some other bits and pieces doubled up on here, and I'm not seeing my Steam library games within here. Not a big issue, considering your library button, you can go in, so you do have a button to go directly into your library should you choose to, and you can also, with the game launcher, you can go in and choose your desired launchers. You've got your cloud gaming still that you can go into if you enjoy the cloud gaming side of things. And then you do have your armory crate, so you can go into Command Center for Asus, and you can. There's lots of settings in here. If it is plugged in, it will automatically switch into turbo at not just 25 watts, but pump it up to 35 watts, which you'll get a little bit more, FPS, etc. Other settings as you'd expecting here, just around, so there's automatic resolution settings you can do. You can jump into the desktop, you can put the FPS limiter on if you want. There's your brightness settings, volume settings in here, and you can power off the device from here as well. Your home screen button up here, you've got your settings, so you can adjust your mic, show the keyboard if you want to, go to this is the full screen experience here that you're doing. One thing of note, if you do jump into Windows and want to change these settings within Windows 11 yourself, and then want to jump back into this, which is the Xbox full screen experience, it will ask you if you want to reboot to take full advantage, because dropping into Windows will take some of the processing away from some of the gaming processing. So it will ask you if you want to reboot, which you can. Again, look up here, I have got an update the game bar. So we'll go through that process. Once that's updated, we'll jump into a discussion with Dan. There we go. We are now with Danny P. Hey, Dan.
Hi, Dan. Look, I'm sorry I had to do that phone call to you at the start of the episode, but, it's not like me to get that angry or high-pitched, but it's...
I get it, conkers, right? I mean, who'd have known?
Oh, so we're not doing conkers?
We're not doing conkers.
Oh, we're not doing conkers. Okay.
No, I switched it up, buddy. I switched it up. Today we're doing this bad boy.
Look at that. Look at that.
As if I can do a magic mirror.
I can see me as well. Look.
You can see you and you. Yeah. So we're going to do that. And now my camera's out of focus. That's good.
And it's hot off the press as well. This is all. It's been a weird couple of weeks for us, isn't it? In the sense of we've been recording episodes that are not coming out for a couple of weeks. And then we're doing this one in a matter of hours and coming out on a different day. It's all over it. But this is
We're
good.
all over the shop.
It's dynamic.
It is. I'm worried I've messed up my camera now. I think I might have broken my camera because it's completely out of focus and it's going. I don't understand. Why did you show me that? And now it's not there anymore. Look. There it's back.
But hi,
yes. Don't buy a shit camera. It'll be all right.
But yeah, excellent unboxing, by the way. I loved that.
Do you know what? I have to apologise because I am.
For a first
not
attempt,
my forte.
For a first attempt, that's brilliant.
Screen. Yeah, but you appear on screen and I'm all right. It's like I have someone like, because if I'm shit, you'll pick up the slack. Sorry.
Put a picture
when
of me.
I'm shit, you'll pick up the slack.
Put a picture of me next. No, honestly, because obviously I put round to yours earlier today and when I saw that, so honestly, well done on that. But secondly, yeah, it was great to get hands on with the ROG Xbox Ally X. What a name. I mean, they've never got naming,
Asus,
have they?
ROG Xbox Ally X. Yeah.
Xbox have never really got the hang of naming, have they?
They can't do numbers. They can't do names. They can't do software. We'll talk about that in a minute. So you did have a go. First initial thoughts, because it was only like, 40 minutes or whatever.
Yeah.
What do you reckon?
Yeah, I liked it. I said to you that I thought, looking at the videos and the pictures before, I thought it was going to be a lot chunkier. I mean, it's a hefty unit, so
it's a meaty boy, yeah.
Yeah, compared to the Steam Deck, it is. It's got a bit more heft to it, but it's not as chunky as I thought it would be. It's lighter than I thought it would be. I think when I was there, I grabbed one of your Xbox controllers and said it actually felt probably the same weight, which is weird.
Yeah, the old Elite. Yeah, it's not far off.
Yeah. I thought the screen was nice, which we'll come on to later because I've heard some people criticising that. I was actually quite taken back by the sound. I thought the sound was really good. Again, that surprised me.
It's quite impressive.
Yeah. There are a few bugs at the moment. It feels like the software, and it was, but this is why having the item and getting hands on with it, it was quite interesting to see that. And I know you'll give us your view, but it looks like a really solid bit of kit. And played a bit of Forza. I thought the game had crashed, but it was me that had crashed, wasn't it, in the game at one point?
You drove directly into a fucking stone and stopped.
I drove into a boulder and then a building, and I was like, damn, the game's crashed, this is awful. But no, initial impressions after sort of 40 minutes, it's a nice bit of kit, isn't it?
Yeah, and I appreciate it's not a great deal of time to get, a feel for the thing, and that I've only had it, 24 hours, I guess, and because I was in London yesterday, I got back, rushed through kind of the unboxing piece and tried to get some time with it last night. Weirdly, the sound wise, I think other than about 5 minutes starting it up today when you were playing it, was probably the first time I'd heard the sound properly because I'd had it down low while I was playing on the sofa with it last night, so my wife could still watch telly. So sound wise, it's very impressive for a little box. I think I was saying, you got your mobile phone and that sounds really tinny and, it doesn't have much reverb on it. And this thing sounds like it, and that was only at half volume. So it sounds like it could, definitely look, I think if you're playing if you want a full immersion thing, you're going to stick headphones and you're going to Bluetooth headphones and you're going to, do that whole piece. But I think it's good enough, other than those obnoxious people who sit on trains with their phones playing without headphones, they'd be all right with it. I think you're right. It's a chunky boy. You could probably do some damage if you were to wield it as some sort of weapon. It is, I don't think it's far off the weight of the original Elite controller, which is the one I had by my desk. But it's what's weird. I played for probably about 90 minutes last night, maybe a little bit more. Didn't feel any significant finger cramping or, it just felt good to play. And I do think they've done a damn good job on those ergonomics at porting over the Xbox thing. And I'm sure there's, some sort of design or some sort of thing that Xbox stipulated had to happen as a result is probably they've probably got some stamp on it that means nobody else can use it but it does feel very, very good.
The thing about the ergonomics, I think it's important to call out because so we've said and it's quite well known or well said that the Xbox controller is one of the better ones or more comfy ones, and everyone's saying, well, it's styled on that, so it's going to be. But you got to remember, there's like a 7-inch screen in the middle of it, so it does change the hold, how you hold it, right? But so I was intrigued by that when I was coming around, because the Steam Deck, I mean, listen to me, all Steam Deck now, but it is slimmer, but it felt so comfy. And then again, when I was looking, I mean, these are all sort of things I didn't want to say to you before you got it, because I thought, well, it's you know, I don't want to say, oh, I'm worried about this or that when I'm not buying it. But I then wondered, the chunkier the grips, how would that feel? But again, it felt fine. If anything, you know, you feel like you could sort of really go to town, in the sense of if you're playing a game and you're getting a bit frustrated, or you're getting you know, your grip strengthening, it didn't feel like there was going to be any give, and like you said, it just felt comfy. And if you say you've been playing sort of for about an hour or so with no issues, I think that says it all.
And it was kind of a mix. So I did some cloud gaming on Borderlands for about 30-40 minutes, and played Borderlands 4. And then played some stuff on Steam, that Slots and Daggers. So I was playing that, which none of these, I mean, I guess Borderlands is a little bit, you know, there is some trigger action and stuff you're playing. Slots and Daggers is very much a single button, kind of a little bit of joystick, so not a huge amount on there. And also played a bit of the Cosmic Marvel demo. Yeah. So I played a bit of that, which is a bit more interactive, obviously, because you've got lots of moves and functions, because it's a beat 'em up. So that you know, but like I said, felt absolutely fine to play for that long. Didn't really feel the weight either. It wasn't like, you know, your arms start getting tired and like, oh God, it's really heavy. Honestly, one of the things on the unboxing you'll see earlier is when I took it out of the box, one of the things I was concerned about was going to be the weight, because I'd heard a lot of criticism from the pre-release reviews and things saying, oh, you know, it's really heavy. It's not. I mean, it's not. It's not for what's in that box and what it's doing. That's not a heavy thing. I mean, I was saying to you earlier, and we'll come on to performance and stuff, but performance-wise, it's not too dissimilar to my home PC, which is a tower, which is sitting right by my leg and weighs 4 times as much as this thing. So considering what they've been able to put in this little box, it is a bit magic. You know, it works really, really well. As I said, the build is really solid. I'm really impressed with the build quality on it. I said about the D-pad, but, you know, like you're right. You know, it serves its purpose, and you could probably pull off your Shoryukens and Hadoukens, as you know, to your heart's content with it. It's not, you know, it's not the end of the world. But like I said, I don't really use it for that, because I'm not a massive fighting game player anyway. So most I'm going to be doing is selecting stuff and bits and pieces, which it does serve its purpose beautifully. Yeah,
I think the other couple of observations, and that's the thing, and so again, you know, I don't think we need to iterate it. You know, we're not paid reviewers or professional reviewers, and this isn't a Microsoft piece, but yeah, the D-pad feels good, because I mean, Microsoft or Xbox has always had, well, the last couple of iterations, the controller have had good D-pads, but it doesn't look like the D-pad on the Elite looks nicer, doesn't it? And even on the Xbox controller, if I'm honest, it's nicer. But it feels solid. And the other thing that took me back as well was, or you know, I noticed was that the triggers, the buttons, the shoulder buttons and triggers are actually really big as well. So you're not going to slip off those or accidentally not find it. You know?
No, they literally cover like the entire curvature of your finger. So you're literally, your entire finger is there, which was, again, you know, is quite impressive for what they've put into this, and actually I think makes it significantly more comfortable than it would have been had it had just controller size triggers. Because you know, they are more literal triggers. They're more of a kind of straight down. Yeah. So, you know, you're able to rest your hand. So I think a lot of thought has gone into the design. A lot of thought has gone into the build and the quality of the build. The D-pad, I don't know if it's lifted wholesale off the old ROG. It may have been. I'll have a look into it. But other than that, heat-wise, it doesn't get hot. It just doesn't. And it's whisper quiet. Even when it's in turbo mode, I'm not really... I mean, I'm old man ears, right? So, you know, I don't know, but it doesn't sound loud. I mean, I sit in this office. You won't hear it on here because you know, got quite effective noise cancelling stuff. But my PC down here makes a lot of noise in terms of air intake and output. This thing, it's compared to that, it's next to nothing. And like I said, comparatively, it's probably not too dissimilar. I think I'm running a 3280, I think Ti card or something like that in it. So, but this thing is, just super impressive. And props to Asus, who clearly know what they're doing, right? Because I said earlier, I think is about the closest we're going to get to a proper Xbox handheld now, which is a shame. Working in conjunction with Microsoft to build it, but the build is clearly an Asus build. They've kind of gone, right, what do you want to do, Microsoft? We'll stick some handles on it and make sure the triggers
they know what they're doing. Right. They know what they're doing, right? So,
yeah. So props to the guys who did it. Really, really solid build. Really lovely piece of kit. Really nice experience in terms of the unboxing. There was, which I didn't include in the video, there was a 65 watt power watt charger included, which is nice. There is I'm not even going to call it a stand. There's a bit of cardboard you can put it on.
Yeah.
I mean,
when you said that to me, I've been thinking about that today because look, and this will feature through the episode, I'm sure. But it's a sizable amount of money for it, and
£800 for this, UK pounds or $1,000.
Yeah, and you raised a good point when I was around earlier that a lot of that, or there's going to be a sizable amount on the Windows license, which I hadn't even thought about. But you'd think that they could probably still chuck in something, a couple of things, whether it is, like I said, whether it's a case or something, but I don't know, like a proper little kickstand or something.
I think if you're going from something like a Steam Deck to this, you're going to feel shortchanged in terms of what you get in the package for the money, right? Because what did you pay for your LCD?
So this was on the sale they had recently, but it was $279.
Right, $279, right? Which is almost a third as less than I paid, and you got a lovely case, a charger. You got all the kind of things that you would need.
And it's a good quality case, I will say.
Yeah, and I've seen they're cracking quality. Yeah. So you would, I think, feel a bit shortchanged picking up one of these and going, "Is that it?" I mean, look, the charger's nice. It's a 65 watt charger. It's great. You can use it with your mobile. So and those things. I stupidly bought one, as I said to you, because I read into the rhetoric of everyone going, "You don't get a charger with it," and I was like, "Well, I'm going to be ahead of the game and get myself one." Bought one. It comes with one. So they, those things aren't cheap. They're 50 quid or whatever. But you kind of go, but I can't really keep it safe. I mean, I could raw dog the thing and throw it in my bag. But do you want to do that with 800 quid worth of PC?
It's just almost like a symbolic thing because it's their first Xbox branded one and it is sizable. Even if they'd have maybe, I don't know if they put a screen protector on it. I don't know if it's got one or
Scorpio screen protector.
And like I said, I know people. It's a minor thing. It is a minor quibble, but it's just. It was something that struck me when you pulled that little stand out, and I thought,
I hadn't. That was the first time I took it out because I'd seen other people do it, and I was just like, I don't even want to look at that thing because it is genuinely a piece of molded cardboard that looks like when you get certain items of packaging that are replacing their polystyrene. It just looks like the corner thing of one of those, and you're like, is that the stand?
Yeah. You can buy the official Microsoft case soon.
Just nothing. So I am yet to pick up a case for the thing because I'm kind of like I am still. Am I even going to bother taking it out as much? Because now I have tried it in docked mode and it is beautiful. So I'm like, do I even need to do that? Do I just want to stick it downstairs on the TV every now and again and play Steam games that I'd otherwise have to stream? Maybe I'll do that.
This is it.
Because that is the thing. But look, like we said, hardware build, quality-wise, sound-wise, it all fits together beautifully as a package. All the connectors, there's nothing wobbly or shonky on there. There's nothing that feels loose. It all feels very tight. You raised a great point. The sticks are really good. I mean, they're one of the highlights for me. They just feel so right in terms of positioning, in terms of the pullback and the feedback that you get from them. I know you can go in and there's lots of tweaks and things you can make in the armor crate as well to, how you like your gaming rig set up. So that's good. And again, all the triggers feel just the right amount of click. The buttons are solid. It's a lovely piece of kit from that perspective. So no faults there. You know, I think, you know, it'd be a 9 out of 10 if we were scoring that sort of thing from a hardware perspective. It's wonderful. However,
Yeah.
we do have to talk about the overall experience. So, because I'm not just buying a very plastic paperweight, and this thing has to serve a purpose, and that purpose is gaming. For that's how it's sold. That's what you want it for. So you want it to be quite intuitive and easy and simple. So let's talk about, to begin with, what happened when I turned it on. So first of all, unlike many pieces of technology I've bought in the past, there was almost zero charge in it, so I had to plug the thing in to fire out, which is fine, right? I don't mind. It's not a problem. It looks
It's
a bit
unusual,
embarrassing on
though.
a video if you don't edit it.
Yeah, it is unusual though, isn't it? Yeah.
Although, having said that, I'm very glad that it did do that, because I then went through about 40 to 45 minutes of quite painful setup getting the thing up and running.
Okay.
So it immediately boots into Windows 11. Look, for anyone out there knows it's a Windows 11 PC. That's what it is with a Xbox cloak on. But it was a very painful experience setting up Windows 11, made slightly simpler by things like having Windows Authenticator to push your password through, so you just acknowledge a number and it goes through. Those sort of things made it easier. People have bigged up the fact, yes, you can use the control pad or the stick, the D-pad or the stick and the A button to enter things. Great. You can type your name in with them, but it's quicker to type it in on the on-screen keyboard. You know, so there's this kind of little concessions, I guess you could say. But that took an inordinate amount of time. It's longer than setting up a normal PC, in my opinion. And then it needed to update a lot. So it wasn't, you know, you get through an update. It does a Windows update, your standard Windows done my update, and you go, great, okay, well, that's taken, 20 minutes or whatever. And then you're left with loading into the screen, and it's quite glitchy. It's quite the full screen experience. This is the Xbox FSE, which is their full screen experience. That is the OS essentially. It's the equivalent of Steam OS for this. You log into that, it comes up and it looks great. If you're familiar with how Xbox works, it's very similar to that, and functionally it's fine, and it's got all the things you'd expect in their gamepass front and center. Your library, all those sorts of things. But then immediately you start noticing problems where certain things hang or freeze or stop working. One of the things I've noticed continually on this actually is when I boot back in after it either being switched off or in powered down mode for a while, is none of the controls will work until I physically tap the screen to say I'm there, and then they'll start working, which is odd in itself.
Yeah.
And it's just very buggy. But then then after the whole Windows thing, I was trying to start playing some games. It says, no, hang on a minute. Your game bar now needs an update. So I had 2 of those to do.
Right.
So for some weird reason, and the pain in that is there's no centralized way of updating. So as soon as you say, well, okay, I want to update, it sticks you back into Windows 11. So you're then in Windows 11 doing a standard update within the Windows framework like you normally would, restarting, going back to the FSE. I think where I've got it now and where you were trying it earlier, I am at a place where I think all the updates I need to do are done. That's nearly a day later. Yeah. But even you, in your brief time with it, saw some of the bugs.
So what did I see? So you had it on the Painkiller demo, didn't you? On Steam.
Yeah.
So I didn't exit the game, but I went to the home page or whatever it is now. And we didn't clock at first because we were talking, and I assumed it was your PC, but the music was still playing in the background, wasn't it? And
the
then
game sounds,
yeah. And then what was it? Then I went to do something. I think I went to start another game, but then we said, oh, let's try quit out of Painkiller. And you brought up like the carousel, whatever it was, and it said press like X to close, and you were jamming at the X button, and it wasn't doing anything. Code. No,
and I only had to do that because you'd said when you went to switch, it comes up with a little box saying, "I'll load Forza, but do you want me to close this first?"
Oh, that was it. Yes.
So you said yes.
Yeah.
And it carried on, and you could still hear the sound. So I said, "Oh, well, let me just." So you swipe up from the bottom to bring up the carousel. and pressing X did nothing.
Yeah.
And weirdly, even when I shut down Steam, like force closed it, it still carried on. And I was like, this isn't working right, is it? It's just not.
And then I saw some unresponsiveness when you were sort of navigating, and I think but I'm gonna give it a pass on this. When we first started Forza, there was a bit of shuddering, but I think that was literally the first time we loaded it. So you know, I'm not looking at that, but you know, I was gonna say, and I know I said it to you, and I was just looking at my screen here because I found it. You know, I got the Steam Deck 3 years later, and it was an issue when I first turned it on. I couldn't do an update, and I'm looking at it here. I was getting an update error, which I then mentioned to Alex of the Game Club pod, because he got one as well. He said, "Oh yeah, I've got that." And then I looked on a forum, and people, you know, it was day one, and it's still there now. So you know, I guess software's always going to have its bits. I think I think what I said to you, and you know, is it a period of, you know, it's the first 24 hours, you're doing all the updates, you're switching, no doubt you're switching between the different stores, etc., which you're not necessarily going to do all of that in like the space of 60 minutes, are you, when you're used to it?
No, and it was, you know, I wanted to put it through its paces as much as possible, knowing that, you know, I've said it before, you know, I play across console and PC quite regularly. So for me, it was really a test of, can it intuitively switch between those things as I'm on the fly, if that's what I want to do? And the answer right now is no. The good news is it is just software, right? So software can be fixed. If there was a fundamental flaw with the hardware, that would have been a bigger problem, and that would have been, for me, would have been straight away, that's going back, because I cannot deal with that, and I cannot wait for that to be fixed. I cannot, you know, I told you the horror story of the robot vacuum I bought that just decided it wasn't going to do anything when you know. So, you know, I that for me is a deal breaker. This isn't so far. It's just, it's got some quirks and it's a bit flawed. The thing is, we know Microsoft can make great software. The question is, can they make great software in conjunction with Asus? Because that's going to be the thing. Yeah, and I hope the answer is yes.
Yeah, and I'm sure, well, they're going to have to, right? Because this is a big investment, and especially with the press they've had recently, you know, and the whole debacle over what they are or aren't doing now. There was a video came out today or yesterday, I think, where they've absolutely confirmed they are doing another console, but we've also heard that console is probably going to cost as much as the handheld, right?
$1,000, yeah, that's what I reckon.
So I think they're going to have to. But you're absolutely right. It is software. I mean, when we got Forza installed, to be fair, that, you know, I love Forza, even though I can't play it that well, but I love Forza, and it played and looked beautiful. And this is the thing I want to say. So you said it's not hardware, it's software. So some of the criticism I've seen is that it's got an LCD screen.
Yeah.
Right? And I get it, OLED is the way now, but I said to you that was when let's reinvoke the Steam Deck name. When I got that, I knew I was getting the base version. And when I saw it, I was over the moon with that screen. And when I saw that, especially when we were loading up Forza, that screen is lovely. I don't get. Now, yes, probably I've not seen the OLED version, and or if it had an OLED version, it's probably going to look slightly better. But the criticisms of the screen now, and this is why you need to have a hands-on. Yeah. I don't get it.
It is a beautiful screen. It's not too dissimilar. I was having a look side by side earlier. It's not too dissimilar from the Switch 2 in terms of you know, reflective coating, in terms of, you know, how it looks in the light, in terms of, you know, the color gamut and things like that is displaying, because it's a full HD screen, so it's 1920 by 1080. So it's, you know, it does what you'd expect it to do. It's not going to be, you know, 4K. It's not an OLED. It's not, you know, it has none of those things. It's got 120 hertz refresh rate. You know, my TV's got that, and my TV's a ridiculous OLED screen. So, you know, refresh, and they're the kind of things that I care about. It supports FreeSync, so, you know, from a gaming perspective, it's perfect. You know, and it's tough as nuts. It's got Gorilla Glass, which is, I don't know if the Victus is the latest one that is the toughest one, but, you know, so it's fairly protective as well. Protected, sorry. Yeah. I don't have any complaints about the screen. Yeah. I've not, you know, look, the video will tell you otherwise in terms of when I'm looking at it from the top and you've got my ring light shining on it. Yes, it does catch the light quite a lot. But what I will say is that light is fucking bright. So it's doing quite a good job of dimming it down. And I haven't changed it and done any color correction on the video or anything for that. So, you know, I don't think it's too bad. I don't think it's too terrible.
Yeah. What else have I seen? Because I remember saying to you, I'd already got annoyed by some of the coverage it was getting. Oh, yeah. The other two main things. So I get it now, having seen you use it today. But everyone was saying, like people saying, oh, this is an Xbox. They're saying, it's not an Xbox. So, and I was thinking, no, chill out. It's the same. But I kind of get it now because seeing how you had to go through the different sort of screens, if you want to go from gamepass to Steam, you know, there is a little bit of fiddling around, and even just the sort of, there's going to be elements you're going to have to tweak some games probably in the future. And if people are picking it up expecting just the Xbox experience, I can see why people are probably trying to put people in their place on that. I mean, I get it, but people are getting too angry about that whole phrase. But I see it now. I see it now.
Yeah, you need to, you do. Yeah, people need to calm down. All right, it's a fucking piece of plastic with a screen on it at the end of the day. All right, let's put the world into perspective. But we asked the question: is this an Xbox? And for me, it's quite a resounding no. It's not. It's not. Yeah, but I didn't buy it expecting an Xbox console. And I think that's the key thing. If you walk into this with your eyes open and really understand what it is that Asus do really well and did really well with the previous ROG, and what Microsoft do really well, which is they've always primarily been a software company. They just happen to make some hardware that sold quite well in a black box. And that's what they've done here. You know, they're putting their stamp on it. Is that software there yet? No, not by any stretch. It needs a lot of work, and it you said it earlier when you were around. It feels like it's been released a little bit too early. In terms of, you know, I think another 3 months, maybe 6 months, that software would have been where it needs to be. Now, we're all familiar with the state of player gaming these days. Day one patches, more updates, things to get things right. You know, Cyberpunk took 6 to 9 months to get, you know, running correctly as it should have been. So, you know, I fully expect from an OS perspective, it's not, don't get me wrong, it's not good enough. Right? It isn't good enough. If you're going to release something, it should work. Having said that, 80% of the time it works. Yeah.
And the thing is,
after a day, that's what it feels like.
Yeah, and you said you've had a good session on a couple of games, so you know it does what it needs to do. It's just the experience.
I'm super happy. Right? There were two games on here in particular, both through Steam. In fairness, that I'd wanted to give a go, one of which was Painkiller, and you came around and tried that stumbled out the blocks. It didn't load initially. I had a few problems. It wouldn't install, first of all. I managed to get it to install, then it wouldn't load. Rebooted, then it managed to load. Turn it off and on again, always works. You had a quick squiz through that, you know, and it runs incredibly.
It was good. The issue I had was the controls were inverted, but that's not the the
controls
handhelds
are the right way. You play inverted.
That's not the handhelds fault. But it looked and felt good. And again, I will say on that, that's the sound is what took me away. I mean, you know, I could have been hearing it through like a speaker, you know, like a monitor or something. It was really good, really good.
Yeah, and the other one was No Rest for the Wicked, which I again stumbled out of the blocks, couldn't get it to load, couldn't get it to install, couldn't get it to load, and then I think I'd done an update in between, either a Windows update. I think it actually was the BIOS update for the Asus. Fired it up again, worked seamlessly, worked beautifully, and plays beautifully. You know, and that game, I don't think I had to tweak settings on my PC for it, but it was notoriously laggy to begin with across the board, I think, for any PC. So they've certainly done some tweaks to it. I think we checked when you were around, it is Steam certified for Steam Deck. So it runs on that. So from that perspective, it runs on high settings. The graphics all look beautiful. There's no slowdown. I noticed no kind of lag or drag on it. I didn't play a long time, so I have to caveat that. I only played for about 15 minutes and went and did, you know, a few fights and bits and pieces. Nothing massive. So, you know, some of the boss battles could struggle, I guess, and things like that. Painkiller, on the other hand, you know, it's a new game, so I expect it to do some odd things because it's only in demo.
Yeah.
But it ran beautifully. I mean, it looked gorgeous on that screen. So I was really chuffed with that. So Steam-wise, really pleased with how they got those games play. The one problem I have with it, and I showed you this when you came round, when you switch into Steam, my expectation is it would go straight into big picture mode because that's what it's supposed to do. It doesn't. It goes straight into Steam, standard Steam, and then you're left with a problem because your controller won't work with standard Steam. So you have to use your finger to touch big picture mode that takes it in, that allows you to use it. And the only other slight thing with it is big picture mode isn't framed correctly. It's slightly zoomed in, so you're missing a number of icons off the screen that tell you the buttons. You don't need them, but just as a FYI. So yeah, so software wise, it's a 6 or 7 at the moment because it's just not there yet. When it works, it works brilliantly. Yeah. When it doesn't work, it fumbles and it's a little bit painful to get right.
Yeah, but and like I said, hopefully they're taking feedback and seeing things in forums, and these things can be addressed, right? But the other thing I was going to say, for me, the other not criticism, but of what I've seen online about it is comparisons to other things. So there's two elements to this, right? One, I spoke to you about lunch, so I'm seeing a lot of, this is putting the Steam Deck in the ground. Well, the Steam Deck's 3 years old, and this is much beefier than that. So again, people should calm down. But the other thing I've seen is people saying, well, it's a handheld PC, and you might as well then go for the Lenovo Legion Go 2, which is a better bit of kit. Yeah, and it's also, and I had to look it up here because I wanted to make sure I was getting it right. That starts at $1,099 and goes all the way up to $1,479. So again, you'd expect it to be good, and there's a budget element to this, right, or an affordability element. So totally. It's a way, and I think what I'm trying to say is, when you're looking at these videos online, you just hear a comment like that and you think, oh yeah, maybe I should look at that. But then you realise, well, it's almost, well, it's not 50% more, but it's getting that way, isn't it then?
Yeah, that Lenovo rig, I think in the UK it's $1,200 for the one you'd probably want comparatively. And yes, it is. Yeah, look, no doubt it is a bit of a better bit of kit. And I think, is that the one that also they've now put Steam on as well as a base OS?
Possibly. Possibly.
Right. So there's that as well. There's that element. Yes, Steam OS is a better OS for gaming, but it has been around for 3 years. It didn't start as a great OS. So there is that trade-off, right? So I totally get it. And I did look at that as a thing. No, let's be clear. If I was going to spend £1,200 on something, it probably wouldn't be on a mobile gaming PC. If I was going to buy something to play games on, I'd probably spend the money on a decent graphics card, or I'd probably go that route. I had some disposable money from inheritance that I'd got, then that's why I chose to get this, right? Plus, we do this. We love doing this gaming podcast. We're both big fans of Xbox, and I wanted to genuinely see what they could do with it, right? It's not a throwaway bit of kit for me. That's not what I'm saying. I will use it, and I will use it a lot, right? Because there are times when I want to be doing something, I want to be gaming or doing something, but I don't want to detach myself completely from the family, or I don't want to stop them from doing what they're doing because the Xbox is pride of place downstairs in front of the telly. I can do that now. I don't even need to worry about it. I can just sit there, stick some headphones on, or even just turn the volume down and have a gaming session while the family are doing their thing. So for me, this is a great way of doing that. And I'm genuinely really pleased with the purchase. I just think there is, go back to the point. I wouldn't have bought the Lenovo because it wasn't that, right? It was a Steam Deck, and I've wanted a Steam Deck for a long time, but this came along and I was like, no, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that thing and enjoy that thing because it sits within the ecosystem I'm already wedded to, sort of, at the moment. Really pleased. I think it's just, it needs quite a bit of work.
Yeah, but again, and that's the fascinating thing about seeing something like that day one, which I've not had you get the opportunity to, like I said, compare it to what you're seeing online. And like I said, it was just for me that throwaway comment about, if you want something better, do that. And it's like, but it's almost 50% more. But but in terms of online things, I did have a quick look. Review scores. This isn't everyone, but IGN gave it a 9, which I'm quite surprised about. Not that it got a 9, but they're normally
review was odd. I mean, I love what IGN, so I have, and IGN's reviews are generally good, but they seem to, it's almost, they edited like me, Dan. They cut away all the shit and left all the good bits in there.
Well, I think a lot of the online videos you see also don't talk about the setup and things like that. And this is why
agreed.
I think an episode like this is perfect, so people can get your first-hand experience, right?
Yeah, totally.
The next two might be slightly biased, people say, but Pure Xbox gave it 9 out of 10. Windows Central gave it 4.5 out of 5. Engadget gave it 88 out of 100, or it's been rounded up to that. Games Radar, 4.5 out of 5. Tom's Guide, 4 out of 5. And a Best PC Gaming Handheld verdict. PC Gamer gave it mixed positive with praise for the hardware but criticism of the price. The Verge, 6 out of 10 for the X model, which is actually something to come on to, yeah. And
that's this one, yeah.
Yeah. Rock Paper Shotgun, mixed review criticising the underwhelming display, again, which I don't get.
I don't think it is. And
buggy software, which we so agree. Now, the reason I said about the X is because obviously there's another model, excuse me, which you don't have. So I would love to know if you're watching or listening this and you've got the other model.
Yeah, please
let us know how
comment.
that is. Yeah.
Yeah, and while you're there, like and subscribe. Means the world to us. And it would be good to have you on board because you'll get more of this sort of nonsense from Dan and I. Yeah, and you're right. There is the other model. I wonder how well it stacks up because I suspect the software experience will be very similar, if not exactly the same. But obviously, it's slightly less powerful. So what does that mean?
Well, that's exactly, yes. That's why I'm asking if people have got that because, yeah, the experience you said you've had, my head is extrapolating it to be worse scenario. Unless it's differently optimized or something. I don't know. No
idea. But there is, fundamentally, there is the intrinsic question of value around these things because even that model is $499. So
yeah,
still almost twice as much as your purchase of a Steam Deck. Yes, it is 3 years old or whatever, and yes, even slightly less powerful than the other version of the ROG. The Xbox ROG, but not that significantly underpowered against it.
No, but I guess if you're going to compare it to the Steam Deck, I'm just looking now. What's the OLED? Well, the more expensive one has got a terabyte storage, hasn't it? The Steam Deck, but I think that's 579, so it comes in at less than that, right? So the mid-range one is 479, and the top one's 569 with a terabyte. So it's it comes in less than that. Yeah.
Right. So there is this intrinsic question of value and what do you derive as value. We had the same conversation around Game Pass a little while ago. What value you get from that thing, right? And how you define value. So is that and we had this conversation at lunch. Is this thing worth nearly 3 times as much as a Steam Deck in the sale? In fairness, I'm not sure it is. However, I think time will tell, and it will also be the great leveler because, I will then know if in 6 months' time, 12 months' time, there are games that I cannot now play on this because it is not powerful enough. Yeah. Why did I spend that money on something that, and who knows, maybe there'll be a Steam Deck 2 announcement that, everyone will go nuts over for then. Yeah. So, time is going to tell whether or not this is, will we be saying the same thing about this in 3 years' time we're saying about the Steam Deck now, which is it's an amazing bit of kit. It can keep up with most of the stuff you want. All right. It's not, there are some things that fundamentally it's just either not going to play or certainly aren't going to be certified, or you're going to have to make massive concessions to play with. But having said that, I've seen videos about this thing that, Doom, Dark Ages, this thing will struggle to play Doom the Dark Ages as a standard setup. There were some tweaks to that debate again, and again, some concessions in terms of dropping quality and things like that to get the thing to run. So it's not it's not all, yeah.
I mean, we said earlier, didn't we? I would love us to do a revisit of this in maybe 3 months' time.
We will. We absolutely will.
And see how you get on. But for me, for my like hours sort of experience with it, it's a nice bit of kit. It looks nice. It's well put together. from what the odd little bit I played, it's a great machine, which you'd expect it to be. But yeah, you've got the honour of playing it and experiencing it. So it'd be good to see in 3 months what you say.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, 24 hours is probably not long enough. However, that I have bought things in the past that have been quite expensive, and 24 hours in gone, what the fuck have I done? Like, buyer's remorse has set in rapidly. Yeah. That is absolutely not the case with this. I cannot stop picking it up and touching it. I apologise.
Yeah. And you've not you've not even had a chance to go on it properly, because yesterday, like you said, you got in late. You're in London, and then today or last night you were focusing on the unboxing, which I know is a big thing because it was the first time you'd done that. Well, I've not done that the way I say that. But you were focusing on that, and then I came around today, and then you're working. So you've not even had a chance to go on it fully yet.
And this weekend I should have a little bit of time to play. I've downloaded Keeper, so I've just gotten that, and now I'm so excited about that game. It's so ridiculous how excited I am to play Keeper. I love Double Fine. People out there will know I love Double Fine. I love their games. Psychonauts is one of my all-time favourites. So getting the opportunity to play a new gig from them, I cannot wait. And I've got it on here. I might play. It's only a 5-hour kind of game, so I might just sit down and do the whole thing on a big screen, or I might actually dock this downstairs and see how it behaves, because it's supposed to be beautiful, that game as well. Like, so many people I read 3 different reviews of the game, and every single one of them said it's one of the most beautiful games they've ever played. And I'm like, do I want to do that? I'm going to see.
But this one. Oh, go on. No, sorry. No, you'd say your point.
I was just going to say one other thing on this. The one thing I love little things that work really well, right? And whether it's a smoke and mirrors thing and it's not actually doing it, or whether it is actually fundamentally doing it properly, whoever designed, built, and put in the fingerprint reader on this thing is a fucking magician, because it is incredible. It is literally, you press the button and it just comes on and it's logged in straight. Well, I just tap the button and it's got, how does it read my finger that quickly? It's amazing.
You just remind me of the other funny thing I saw online, someone complaining that the buttons were too hard. I'm like, come on. The Xbox button and the armor crate, is it button? They were complaining those were too hard.
What do they want? Squidgy buttons? I don't understand.
I don't know. But I was going to go back to your point, and that's the thing about, I guess, these handhelds. So I got mine, the Steam Deck, because I didn't have a PC and I wanted to get into like the Steam gaming. But having said that, if we were doing a what have you been playing, and I've surreptitiously done that now, I'd still be saying God of War. Now, what the funny thing about that has been is when I can, I'll generally put it on the big screen, dock it, but on the big screen, because it's a great game to play like that. But I'm aware I don't want to hog the TV all the time. So you've got the beauty of going onto the handheld mode, which is absolutely fine. It's perfect on there as well. But this is the thing. So it's not necessarily all about portability. It's also about ease of use in and around the house. And people are saying, well, that's not really a problem that needs solving. No, but it can help in certain situations,
I absolutely agree. There is a quality of life thing here, though, that you've mentioned that I did forget. When I tested this in doctor mode, and it worked beautifully, you obviously have to, the best thing to do is to attach a controller to it by Bluetooth. Stick your Bluetooth controller. So I pulled out my Xbox Elite, connect it via Bluetooth, and it comes up with a little warning, and it says, obviously, this console uses Xbox hardware for the controller components. There could be clashes. Do you want to disable the controller components for the PC? Yes, of course I do. I don't want to, crash or whatever. Play my game, happily playing away, stop playing my game, undock the ROG, turn it off, come back to it later, turn it on. None of the controls are working. Why are none of the controls working? And then in my mind, I've gone, well, I've disabled the software that interacts with the controller. So I have to go into the settings and...
So it doesn't reset?
Enable. It doesn't just automatically... So I have to go in and enable them. First of all, I thought it was broken.
Yeah.
I was like...
Yeah, you would.
The thing's not... Yeah. It's not... What's happened? No, it completely disabled them, and you have to go into, which again is a faff, because then I've got no controllers. Not even the game, not even the button to bring you into the Xbox menu is working. So I have to use the touchscreen for everything to try and get me back into that. And it's just... again, it's not a deal breaker. It's just shitty. I shouldn't have to do that, man. I should be able to connect my Bluetooth and go, well, he's using the Bluetooth controller now. Oh, he stopped using the Bluetooth controller. My phone doesn't stop working because I've connected a Bluetooth application or device to it. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, it's weird. Yeah.
But yeah. Let us know. Let us know your thoughts on it. Yeah.
Yeah. Look, I love it. I genuinely, I do love it. I think it's a great piece of kit. As I said, I think time will be the true teller in terms of how well it performs and where we get to with it. I'm going to have a good go of it over the next week in time for our episode after next. Because our next episode we've got in the can, I think.
Yes. Yeah, I was going to say next episode will be out on the 28th. And the only reason I'm saying the date is because this one's going out early. So if I say next week and you rock up on the Tuesday, it's not going to be there. So yeah, Tuesday 28th, and it might be a spooky episode.
That's a horrible thing to say, Dan.
Well, the intro is.
The
intro will be. No, it's not you. I've got to apologise to the viewers. Yeah,
your intro was brilliant. I loved it. It made me laugh so much. I had to disable my entire video and sound stream because I was laughing through the whole thing. But
yeah, actually, you're right. So not next episode or episode after that, you'll be able to give us a bit more of a.
Yeah, I'll have had a good couple of weeks playing around with it and seeing what we're going, and we'll go from there. Okay. But yeah, anything else you want to mention on this or anything else, Dan? No,
just a hello to all the lovely people watching and listening. I did want to say actually, because we've done this so off the cuff, as in so out of sequence. We had a lot of interaction on our last episode, which was the gamepass. So,
and it was wonderful.
Yeah, so I want to say thank you to everyone. If you commented on TikTok or a YouTube short, we do love getting it. So yeah, again, let us drop a comment on any of our videos and let us know what you think about either what we've said or what we're talking about.
Awesome. Right, I'm off to play some Asus. Ally, Xbox, ROG, Ally, X. I'm going to go and have a go on this. or update it. Well, wait, I'm going to go and update this. Look, we'll see you next time for a spooky edition of Gaming Views. Ta-ta for now.